Nice size, yeah.
See you guys. Welcome back, my friends, to another episode. I just dropped Jess off at an appointment and she's gonna be there for about an hour, so I figured I'd take this time to hang out with you and talk about something that is really important to Jess and I, especially when it comes to productivity. As you might be thinking right now, one, James doesn't just have her own car, and yes, she does, but if you remember, she has a flat tire on that car a few episodes back when we were on our way to the airport, out of nowhere, flat tire. And you might be thinking, that seems like a pretty urgent thing, you should probably take care of that. Now, I agree with you, but this is kind of what I wanted to talk about today. And Jess and I are very intentional about being as efficient as we can with our productivity and the time we use. And while Jess does have a flat tire on her car, we fortunately have another car, this Land Rover, which has proven its value in driving to LAX and making up the pass last week, right before we went to Florida. And when I first got back, I was thinking, yes, I'm gonna get that tire changed first thing on my list. But then I realized I have a lot more things on that list that fits on there. You know, that category of tasks that oddly has a lot to do with cars and those things that you have to do because you need your ID to do it, and all those things like changing the tire in this car. But I also realized we also need to register both our cars. That's coming up. In order to do that, it's time for both our cars to get smogged, amongst a few other appointments in the DMV and AAA and all those things. So I realized if I were to just go get her tire fixed, I would have to jack it up, take the tire off, take it to Ian's Tires, have them replace it or patch it, then I have to bring it back to my house, and I have to, you know, put it back on, make sure it works, take it for a test drive, and all of a sudden, a few hours minimum is lost from a day that I had planned on being productive in more important areas, even though I had to replace that tire and that was completely necessary. So what I decided, and this is the main thing, this is just something I want to chat with you about today, is stack days. And stack days just means you take a day to stack all of those tasks up so you can bust it out in one day. And this is really valuable for a few reasons. One, it is significantly more efficient to keep an engine running than to start an engine. And I don't want to go through the week restarting the engine when it comes to those tasks. One day I have to go to the DMV and register our cars. The next day I have to change this tire. The next day, oh, I forgot to smog the cars. And all of a sudden, 3 or 4 days in, and I've done these tasks that are necessary but really annoying, and that kind of drains the rest of the energy for the real important work we have to do, yet those things are necessary. So the principle of stack days just means I'm gonna take an afternoon and I'm gonna stack all those things up in the most chronological and efficient order I can and bust those things out. So one, mentally I know today is the day I get to take all those things off my list, and two, it's gonna be much more efficient for me to start the engine once, do every single annoying little finicky task, and know that that's when I set out to do it. So I'm not mad at it, I plan my schedule around it, and Jess and I use stack days in all kinds of things, with client meetings, because we're already gonna be in that mode, you know, the hair and makeup done, or do my mustache, whatever it is. We're already gonna be doing that. We might as well take advantage of already having those things done so that we're most efficient and most ready to do those things. Once we have a meeting, I'm ready for the next meeting, you know? Once I take one car to get smogged, I can take the next car. And that is such an efficient way. And I guess the basic overall principle that I wanna share with you today is find those things that you can stack. A lot of times they're the urgent, non-important things that are just kind of building up, or maybe they're the non-urgent things but become urgent because they build up more and more over time, and all of a sudden you're just slapped with this week of inconvenient things you have to do. So along with what I've mentioned before of the delete, automate, delegate, some things you can't automate, you can't delete, and you can't delegate. For those things and other things, but especially those things, choose a stack day. It can be once a week, once a month. Mine's probably every 2 weeks or so. I just wait until those tasks build up, like they have. DMV flat tire was kind of straw on the camel's back. And that is how I treat all those tasks, so that I'm not running through each day, draining my energy, stopping and restarting the engine of productivity on those things. So that's my encouragement to you, my friends. Start writing out those things that are all in similar categories and buckets and just stack those, especially the things that only you can do and that seem to build up over time. That way you're not wasting any time. You only have to start the engine once. Mentally, you know this is the day I bust out all those things so that you're more efficient and you're more productive, and those especially all those things don't build up, so one day you kind of have to just do all those things throughout the week and just honestly waste your time. So that's what I got for you today, my friends. I'm gonna take a couple deep breaths by the beach, go back and pick up Jess, and then we're gonna hit the ground running and keep working. I'll see you guys tomorrow.